All right, this is a tutorial for the part one of the module 10 review. This is going to cover pretty much the entire module. All right, so first thing we're going to go off is talk about some vocabulary. So this would be a good thing, some good stuff to write down when you as you're taking this test. So select the term that correctly completes the sentence. The blank is the distance around the circle. So whenever you're going around the circle, of course, that would be the circumference. Okay. All right. A figure made up of simple geometric figures. Okay, so when you're putting simple geometric figures together, like triangles, squares, trapezoids, rectangles, and you put them together, we call that a composite figure. All right, the intersection of a three-dimensional figure and a plane. So, like when you take a three-dimensional figure and you cut it, think about slicing it with a knife. Like if you took a stick of butter and you cut it with a knife and you looked at it, what would you see? Most likely, you'd see a square if you cut it from top to bottom. If you cut it from side to side, you'd see a rectangle. We call this a cross section. Just like if you cut a basketball in half, you would see a circle, right? There's a basketball is a sphere shape. Okay. All right, now let's get into this. Okay, I want to calculate the circumference of this circle, and this is to leave my answer in terms of pi. So pi is going to be in my answer. All right, so again, circumference always equals pi times diameter. All right, so I've got diameter, so I'm just multiplying it times pi. Normally I would go 6 times 3.14, but in this case, I'm just going to leave pi in my answer. So of course my answer is 6 pi. So 6, and then I have to search for the pi symbol, and it's right there, 6 pi. Okay, and you may want to do not use the approximation of pi and use the formula C equals pi times diameter. So check it. Okay, so a little difference there. And you'll see that as you go on in math, that sometimes they want you to multiply times pi, and sometimes they want you to leave pi in your answer. Okay, let me clear that out. All right, now this one wants me to calculate the area, okay, of the circle. Okay, so again, um, I know that radius is diameter divided by 2, and I know that the area of a circle is pi r squared. Okay, and again, that doesn't mean times 2. That means that you multiply it times itself. Okay, so I've got a diameter of 6. I'm going to divide that 6 divided by 2. Of course, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my r is 3. And that means I'm going to go pi times 3 times 3. And these little dots, I'm using as multiplication. You could use a little x. We know 3 times 3, that's 9. So, of course, my answer is 9 pi. Okay, if you need to use a calculator, that's fine. Okay, and bring this on down. And if you need to look at the hint, do not use any approximations of pi. Formula for every circle, just like we said. Okay, pi r squared, 9 pi. Okay, all right. Okay, let me clear this out. All right. Okay, now, given that pi equals 3.14, what are reasonable values for the area of a circle with a radius of 5 inches? Okay, so again, all right, area is pi r squared. Okay, so 3.14 times 5 times 5. Okay, bring up my calculator. 3.14 times 5 times 5. And what do I get? 78.5. Okay. That's one of my answers. Now, what's the other answer that's here? Well, what if I didn't use 3.14? What if I just took out pi? What if I left it in terms of pi? Then I would go pi times 5 times 5, like we just talked about. That would be 25 pi, wouldn't it? And that's one of my other answers, isn't it? That's right there. Okay. So use the formula, square the radius. Okay, those are my two answers. Check it, work it. Okay, clear this out. Move on to the next one. All right, given the circumference of a circle is 8 pi, calculate the area. So now we're going from circumference. We've got to find diameter. We need to find radius and then area. So we've got to put them all together. Okay, so drawing on our prior knowledge. Okay, we know that circumference equals pi times diameter. We know that radius equals diameter divided by 2. And we know that the area of a circle is pi r squared, right? Okay, so the circumference is 8 pi, but it says to leave my answer in terms of pi. So that tells you right away what your diameter is, okay? All right, so it tells me that if my circumference is 8 pi, I know my diameter right away is 8. Okay, my diameter is 8. Because I'm basically just taking 8 and I'm dividing it by pi. And what happens when you divide anything by itself? It equals 1 or it cancels out. Pi divided by pi is 1. If you needed to try that out, 3.14 divided by 3.14 is 1. Okay, now let's bring it down here. Let D, 8 divided by 2. What's 8 divided by 2? That's 4. And now here's where we're going to keep our answer in terms of pi. So now we're going to go pi times 4 times 4. And of course, that's going to equal 16 pi. All right, come back over to this box. 16 pi. All right, check it. We're good. Okay, let's clear this out. All right, moving on to the next question. Plugging away at these. All right, now we're talking about that cross section. Like just like if I took a knife, okay? That looks like cranberry sauce to me. If you ever get cranberry sauce out of a can, what did we we cut through it, right? This is our knife and we cut through it. A cylinder is being sliced horizontally by a plane as shown. Select all reasonable statements for the figure. All right, the cross section has the same dimensions as the base. All right, does it have the same dimensions as the base? Okay. Well, yeah, what's the dimensions? It's a circle, right? The base is a circle, so is it going to have the same dimensions? Yeah. Okay. The cross section would be the same if this cylinder were sliced vertically instead of horizontally. No, well, if I slice it this way, would it be the same? No. Okay. If I looked at it, actually it would be a rectangle, wouldn't it? Okay. The cross section is a circle. Does that look like a circle? Looks like a circle to me. The cross section is a rectangle. Well, if it's a circle, it can't be a rectangle, can it? The cross section is parallel to the base of the cylinder. Is this parallel to the bottom? Yeah, it's parallel to the bottom. Check it. We're good. Hopefully those explanations of the 3 answers and the 2 non-answers made sense to you. Talk yourself through them. Check out the hints. Okay, now we've got a composite figure. What's the area of this figure? Okay, so I've got a rectangle here, and we need to find the area of it. So we're going to go length times width to find the area of it, right? 6 and 3. 6 times 3. That's 18. Okay. It's actually 18 square meters. And then I've got a triangle, right? So that's going to be base times height divided by 2, or you could say 1/2 base times height. Many ways you could say that. So I've got 3 times 2, and I want to divide that by 2. 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I've got 18 and 3, and I'm just adding those together. So 18 and 3, that's 21. So I'm looking for 21 meters squared, 21 square meters. Go through the hints, add the areas together, and use the formulas. There's length times width. There's 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2. Check it. We're good. Let's clear this out. Moving on. All right, another composite figure. What do you see here? A triangle, a square, another square. Okay, so let's address them one at a time. We've got this triangle. Okay, 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2. Okay, so 1 times 4, and divide that by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, now we've got a square here. Length and a width. 4 times 4, right? 4 times 4. That's 16, right? Okay. I've got another square here, and that has a side of 1 and another side of 1. Now, how do I know this is a side of 1? Well, from here to here is 3, and this whole side here is 4, so that has to be 1. And of course, 1 times 1, which I really don't even need to write out, hopefully, is 1. And then, of course, I'm going to add these 3 together. 2 plus 16 plus 1 is 19. All right, and we add those 3 together, 19, and we're good. If you need to see the hints, find the triangle, the big square, the little square. So even told you it was a little square. And there's your. Now I use length times width, but you also could use side squared. Okay, check it. We're good. All right, and the last one. Let me clear this out. All right. The new circular community water fountain has a diameter of 192 feet. What's the area of the surface of the circular community water fountain? So we want to find the area of this big circle. Okay. So if you need to draw yourself a circle out when you're doing this, draw yourself a circle out. Okay. And it's a diameter. So I'm going from here to here, and that's 192. So my D is 192. But again, I don't want to know D if I'm finding the area. I want to know R. So do you remember what you do? That's right. To find R, you have to divide by 2. So R was D divided by 2. So 192 divided by 2. And that's 96. Okay, so R is 96. Okay, and then of course area is pi r squared. Okay, so let's see. So we've got 3.14 times 96 times 96. All right. It's going to be a pretty big number. 3.14 times 96 times 96. And what do I get? This big number. And of course, this is a round to the nearest square foot. So I'm going to cancel off these 2 decimal points. So 28,938. Okay, 28,000. 28,938. Yeah, you can see the hints if you need to. Use the formula. There you go. All right, check it, and we're good. Hopefully this was helpful. This was the broad overview of the entire chapter. Thanks for watching.